What is anthropology? When most North Americans hear the word anthropologist, a number of images come to mind. They picture, for example, Diane Fossey devoting years of her life to making systematic observations of mountain gorillas in their natural environment in Rwanda. A field anthropologist interviewing an exotic tribesman about his kinship system, the excavation of a jawbone that will be used to demonstrate the evolutionary link between early and modern humans. A linguist meticulously recording the words and sounds of a native informant speaking a language that has never been written down. A cultural anthropologist studying the culture of hardcore unemployed men in Washington, D.C. A team of archaeologists in pith helmets unearthing an ancient temple from the rainforest in Guatemala. Each of these impressions, to one degree or another, accurately represents the concerns of scientists who call themselves anthropologists. Anthropologists do, in fact, travel to different parts of the world to study little known cultures, cultural anthropologists, for example, and languages, anthropological linguists, but they also study culturally distinct groups within their own cultures. Anthropologists also unearth fossil remains, physical anthropologists, and various artifacts, archaeologists, of people who lived thousands and in some cases millions of years ago. Even though anthropologists and these subspecialties engage in substantially different types of activities and generate different types of data, they are all directed toward a single purpose: the scientific study of humans, both biologically and culturally, in whatever form, time period, or region of the world they might be found. Anthropology, derived from the Greek words anthropos for human and logos for study, is, if we take it literally, the study of humans. In one sense, this is an accurate description to the extent that anthropology raises a wide variety of questions about the human condition. And yet, this literal definition is not particularly illuminating, because a number of other academic disciplines, including sociology, biology, psychology, political science, economics, and history, also study human beings. What is it that distinguishes anthropology from all the other disciplines? Anthropology is the study of people, their origins, their development, and contemporary variations, wherever and whenever they have been found. Of all the disciplines that study humans, anthropology is by far the broadest in scope. The subject matter of an anthropology includes fossilized skeletal remains of early humans, artifacts, and other material remains from prehistoric and historical archaeological sites, and all of the contemporary and historical cultures of the world. The task of anthropology has set for itself is an enormous one. Anthropologists strive for an understanding of the biological and cultural origins of evolutionary development of the species. They are concerned with all humans, both past and present, as well as their behavior patterns, thought systems, and material possessions. In short, anthropology aims to describe, in the broadest sense, what it means to be human. In their search to understand the human condition, anthropologists, drawing on a wide variety of data and methods, have created a diverse field of study. Many specialists in the field of anthropology often engage in research that is directly relevant to other fields. It has been suggested that anthropology spans the gap between the humanities, the social sciences, and the natural sciences. To illustrate, anthropological investigations of native art, Folklore, values, and supernatural belief systems are primarily humanistic in nature. Studies of social stratification, comparative political systems, and means of distribution are common themes in sociology, political science, and economics, respectively. The studies of comparative anatomy and radiocarbon dating are central to the natural sciences of biology and chemistry. The breadth of anthropology becomes apparent when we look at the considerable range of topics discussed in papers published in American Anthropologist, the primary professional journal in the field. For example, the following are only some of the topics discussed in American Anthropologist since 2005. Urbanization in Bronze Age communities in Upper Mesopotamia, kiln networks, land tenure, and oil extraction in Kitubu, Papua New Guinea. Inuit subsistence in the context of environmental change. Explaining corporal punishment of children, a cross-cultural study. A preliminary assessment of social and economic impacts associated with Hurricane Katrina. Biological and cultural anthropology of a changing tropical forest. From John McCain to Abu Ghraib, tortured bodies and historical unaccountability of U.S. empire, slaying, crime, and citizenship in Rio de Janeiro. Understanding the rise of consumer ethnography. Spread of a terrestrial tradition in an arboreal primate. Evolutionary forms of the religious life. In the early 1900s, anthropologists concentrated on the non-Western, pre-literate, and technologically simple societies of the world and were content to leave the study of industrial societies to other disciplines. In recent decades, however, anthropologists have devoted increasing attention to cultural and subcultural groups in industrialized areas while continuing their studies of more exotic peoples of the world. It is not uncommon today for anthropologists to apply their field methods to the study of Hutterites of Montana, rural communes in California, or urban street gangs in Chicago. Only when the whole range of human cultural variation is examined will anthropologists be in a position to test the accuracy of theories about human behavior. Traditionally, the discipline of anthropology is divided into four distinct branches or subfields. Physical anthropology, which deals with humans as biological organisms. Archaeology, which attempts to reconstruct the cultures of past, most of which have left no written records. Anthropological linguistics, which focuses on the study of language in historical, structural, and social contexts, and cultural anthropology, which examines similarities and differences among contemporary cultures of the world. Let's take a look at these four branches of anthropology and what some of their subfields are. In physical anthropology, we have paleoanthropology, primatology, human variation, forensic anthropology, and applied physical anthropology. In archaeology, for example, we have historical archaeology, prehistoric archaeology, contract archaeology, applied archaeology, and cultural resource management. In anthropological linguistics, we have fields like historical linguistics, descriptive linguistics, ethnolinguistics, sociolinguistics, and applied linguistics. In cultural anthropology, there are some subfields like development anthropology, psychological anthropology, environmental anthropology, medical anthropology, urban anthropology, political anthropology, and also applied anthropology. In the recent years, each subfield has developed an applied or more practical component, which is directed more toward solving societal problems and less toward collecting knowledge purely for the sake of developing theory. Despite this four-field division, the discipline of anthropology has a long-standing tradition of emphasizing the interrelations among these four subfields. One of the major sections of the American Anthropological Association is the General Anthropology Division, GAD, founded in 1984 to foster scholarly exchange on the central questions unifying the four subfields of the discipline. Moreover, in recent years, there has been considerable blurring of the boundaries among the four branches. For example, the specialized area known as medical anthropology draws heavily from both physical and cultural anthropology. Educational anthropology addresses issues that bridge the gap between cultural anthropology and linguistics. And sociobiology looks at the interaction between culture and biology. Although a four-field approach to anthropology has prevailed in academic departments for the past century, a growing number of anthropologists are raising the question of dividing anthropology along subdisciplinary lines. Some departments, such as those at Duke and Stanford, have already created separate departments of biological and cultural anthropology. On the other hand, other departments, such as those at Emory and the universities of Pennsylvania and Florida, have purposely moved towards greater integration of cultural and biological anthropology. Whether a department divides or integrates will be determined by broad intellectual forces.